Human beings are, at their core, social creatures. From the earliest days of our existence, we survived and thrived not because of solitary strength, but because of our ability to form meaningful connections. The group was safety, the tribe was sustenance, and the bond was life itself. This need for connection isn't merely a cultural phenomenon, it's deeply embedded in our biology. We seek out relationships not just to alleviate loneliness, but to find purpose, meaning, and belonging. Consider for a moment the profound role trust plays in our lives. Trust is the invisible thread holding all relationships together, whether personal or professional. When we trust someone, we feel safe. We're willing to open up, to risk vulnerability, and to share our innermost thoughts. Yet, trust isn't something freely given. It's earned through consistency, reliability, and the demonstration of empathy. Without it, our connections remain superficial, fragile, and easily broken. Now think about empathy. This remarkable ability to step outside oneself and feel the experience of another is foundational to human connection. It's empathy that bridges the gap between two minds, allowing us to understand and appreciate another's perspective. Neuroscience tells us that our brains are equipped with mirror neurons, a fascinating mechanism that lets us feel what others feel. Empathy isn't just a choice. It's a capability ingrained in the very fabric of who we are. But here's the paradox. We live in a time when connection should be easier than ever, yet so many feel isolated, misunderstood, or disconnected. Why? Because meaningful connections require more than proximity or technology. They demand effort, intention, and vulnerability. So how do we begin to deepen these connections? Conversations. The art of dialogue isn't merely about exchanging information. It's about creating a shared space where two people can explore each other's worlds. The topics we choose to discuss, our dreams, fears, values, and experiences, are like keys unlocking the doors to deeper understanding. Let me suggest a few questions that can spark such conversations. Ask someone about a childhood memory that shaped them, and you'll uncover a piece of their origin story. Inquire about the lessons they've learned from failure, and you'll glimpse their resilience. Or simply ask them what excites them most about the future, and you'll see the light of hope in their eyes. When we engage in these kinds of dialogues, something extraordinary happens. We move beyond the superficial and into the realm of the authentic. We begin to understand that every individual carries a story worth hearing, a perspective worth exploring, and a humanity worth cherishing. Now, let us turn to the wisdom of Dale Carnegie, a man who understood the dynamics of connection like few others. His teachings in how to win friends and influence people are not just tips for success. They are profound insights into the psychology of relationships. Carnegie emphasized something simple yet transformative. Be genuinely interested in others, not superficially, but deeply. When you take an interest in another person's life, when you ask them about their passions, their struggles, their joys, you give them a gift that is increasingly rare in today's world: your attention. He also taught us to smile. A smile is more than a mere facial expression. It's a universal signal of warmth and goodwill. When you smile at someone, you communicate that you're approachable, open, and kind. And when you remember their name, you go a step further. A name isn't just a word, it's an identity, a symbol of one's uniqueness. By remembering it, you acknowledge their importance. Carnegie's principle of being a good listener is perhaps the most vital of all. Listening isn't about waiting for your turn to speak. It's about fully absorbing what the other person is saying. It's about hearing not just their words, but their emotions, their intentions, their very essence. These principles aren't revolutionary because they're complicated. They're revolutionary because they're simple. Yet they're often overlooked. Why? Because they require humility. To practice them, you must set aside your ego, focus on the other person, and genuinely care about their experience. In applying these insights, we face a challenge: the modern world. Social media, for all its connectivity, often promotes a false sense of interaction. The curated lives we see on our screens are shadows of reality, and the algorithms that dictate our online experiences can deepen our echo chambers. To connect authentically in this environment requires intentionality. It requires looking someone in the eye, asking them a real question, and listening to their real answer. We must also confront our own barriers to connection, our fears, our insecurities, our past wounds. These are the shadows we carry, and they can hinder our ability to connect. But by recognizing them, by naming them, we can begin to overcome them. Ultimately, the path to deeper connection is one of courage and commitment. It's about daring to be vulnerable, daring to be curious, and daring to care. It's about recognizing that every interaction is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to contribute to another's life. And so as you move forward, remember this. Connection is not just something we do, it is something we are. It is the essence of being human. When you commit to fostering meaningful relationships, you not only enrich your own life, but you also weave a stronger, more compassionate fabric for society as a whole. Let us strive then to be listeners, learners, and lovers of humanity. Let us ask the questions that matter, share the truths that bind us, and live with the courage to connect. For in doing so, we discover the greatest gift of all, the shared experience of being alive.